Okay, I want to go ahead and call the meeting back to order. And before we start talking about our numbers, Mayor, if you have something you want to share first.
I really don't. Honestly, I think we approved the resolution for the first four. The sewer line to the WEMA stations probably is something that I think that with other development there will probably work out at a later date, so it's not really an urgency on that one. And the rest of it's just up to you on what you want to do. I can answer any questions that you got for me.
Where'd he go?
He'll be back in.
Hey, Jerry.
He wanted to say something. He
He'll be
leaves.
here.
Jerry wanted to say something, but I'll tell you what he wanted to say. The self-insurance for COVID claims, Jerry wanted to let it be known that that's something that we need to strongly consider and not cut out. I'm gonna go ahead and throw something out just to start the conversation, and then we can go from there. So if you just
Take one down, pass it around.
yes, sir. Take it and pass it. Well, I meant for you to stay there.
Oh, you need,
Never mind.
okay, all right.
I don't know if I'm on the aperture or not.
Oh, he's passed, take one,
Yeah.
pass it the wrong way, the other way. Thank you.
Jerry, I spoke for you since you was gone.
Sir,
I spoke for you since you was
about
gone.
that 1.8,
Yes, sir.
the message was from the chairman of the insurance, we need to put that back in the coffers. I'll second that also.
Okay, if I've got if my computer added and subtracted correctly, we're starting this evening with around $6.9 million, and we've got $9.4 million requested, so that's about $2.5 million over and above what funds we have. And all I did was take out WEMA Station 10, DTC, broadband, the $800 there.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, 800,000. And then there was a few dollars left over, and I just took them out of the self-insurance COVID claims, which I think was only about $400 or $500. And that
4,500 or 400,000?
No.
500,000.
400
Okay. You said
difference.
okay.
Because the requested was 1.841, and what I got is 1.840, and that brought it down to the amount of money left over that we ended with Thursday. So I'm not putting that in the form of a motion or anything. I just wanted to start the conversation there so we can work from there.
Well, I was asked a question. I know if somebody else is gonna ask me, you can go ahead. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, the chair was okay with it. I had a question, but I was gonna ask you a
Yes,
question.
ma'am.
Okay, I want to know how we're going to give, and not partial to anybody, but we're going to give Wilson Ryan $600,000, United Way $4,938. And these are nonprofits. We have a lot of nonprofits in Wilson County. And then we've got a gentleman sitting right here who's here because he wants to see if he can't get a piece of money. Yeah, you're going to give one of them one, you're going to have to give them all some. That's question number one.
I can answer the question for you.
Okay.
Those are the two that requested during the time period that we put out to ask people that wanted to submit anything. Those are only two that I got, and I know Daryl Crouch very well. And but these are only two that have been submitted to me, and that's why you have them in front of you.
But I'm saying, a lot of them say, well, I didn't know that we were supposed to,
Yeah.
they didn't get, notification that they were supposed to ask for it. and I'm chairman of Health and Welfare, and we give out, you know, money to nonprofits, and there's like 70, 75 of those individual, you know, groups.
Yeah, so going back to that particular question, back when we began discussing it back in February, yeah, they, all of them got word the ARP funds were out there, and so we had several that hit us at that particular time, and then some backed out since that time. But that word was going around through all the nonprofits when the ARP money first came out. And we didn't go back and re-solicit, you know.
And a lot of these
We don't need to add
nonprofits
anybody
also are
now.
eligible for lots
We
of
don't
grants,
need to add
because I
anybody
read
now.
through their financials,
No,
and I
good.
know that Wilson Rides, Wilson Cares, and all of them have all recently gotten grants. And so,
Sure.
and they will continue to get grants. But this money is supposed to be, you know, money that, where we can't do anything else. You know, I mean, we're never gonna have the opportunity that we have now to do things that we need to do for Wilson County.
And with both of those, now, I'm not, you know, I know the 211 was something they came and talked about, simply that people that are in help can call 211 and find out all the things that are out there to give them help. Senior rides is something that we heard a lot from our seniors about, and of course this money qualifies for that, especially back during COVID, because of getting seniors the transportation they need to get the services they needed, and we don't have transportation in Wilson County, outside of Kelly County.
Yes, but I'm sure there are a lot of things that we need.
Sure.
Okay,
Did
yes,
you go
sir.
through the health and welfare program or committee?
No,
Wait a
these
minute.
don't go through committee, sir.
Yes.
Yeah, I was just wondering, you were gonna take the 800 for DTC, I was wondering if you do that, can you take the 1.5 United, split that in half and give 750 United and 750 to DTC, that way they both get a little bit of it.
800 is what DTC requested after we
Yes.
revised their contract with us, since they didn't get a state grant, so we went back to them, and they said they would like 800,000, put the proposal in here, and United Communications really were wanting 2.5, but went to 1.5.
But what I just asked, he said he'd like to take the 800 out, and my proposal back is if you're gonna
Oh.
take the 800, it's gone, we got 1.5 going to United, let's split that 1.5 in half and give them 750 and give DTC 750. That way they both get a piece of something.
Okay.
I'm on here.
Anybody else have anything they wanna? Yes, ma'am.
I'm going to say something about what Sarah has said, because the word is out about this, and I've had a couple nonprofits call me about it. And reminded me that we gave $300,000 to another nonprofit, and we took a lot of flack over it, y'all remember correctly on that. A lot of flack over it. I'm like Sarah, if we're going to give away money to nonprofits that have a 501c3, I'd like for us to spread it out. I had a lot of them, they didn't know anything about it. I didn't know anything about it.
And they have to qualify too under this. It's just not any nonprofit. So
What are
that
the qualifications?
qualification has to be health related. Everything you see here has to be health related, either for your seniors or for some type of entity. They're up under.
Senior Citizen Centers of Mount Juliet and Lebanon.
I don't think they
I don't
qualify.
think they would qualify.
They don't qualify, no,
What
sir.
about the Community Health Center?
Don't think they would qualify
There still
either.
are a lot of, there's still.
What about the nonprofit health over in Mount Juliet?
Jairus, that's what
Yeah.
I'm gonna ask about.
Jairus.
Jairus good.
Jairus
Yeah.
could,
Yeah,
yeah.
there's lots of
And
them.
I know Jairus didn't know anything about this because I talked to their director after the time you were talking about with the meeting in February. And she didn't know anything about the meeting at all.
Well, it's, you know, what's strange to me is that some people knew about it and some people didn't. The things were, the information got out though. Everybody should have had the opportunity to receive the information. And I don't think, it's my opinion, I don't think it's appropriate to start adding people to the list at this point in time.
Amen.
But, okay, committee members, what is, I mean, we don't, this $604,938 doesn't have to be spent right there. It can be spent somewhere else on this list if you so choose.
You could take both of those out and then not have any nonprofits at all, which would be fine.
Yeah, we could, but I'd like to hear from the committee now.
I'm on the committee.
Why-
I'm speaking on the committee.
I didn't want somebody else back there. I'm sorry.
Well, good, that's good to know.
Hurt my feelings.
I
Go
only-
for it.
I only had one more comment that was made to me, that there were 3 ambulances we had in here, but we had no drivers. We don't even have any ambulances for the, you know.
Well, it's
I
true,
got
but how
21
long is it
days
gonna
that
take
I'm
to get
done.
those ambulances?
And I wanted that question to be put in the minutes so it would be answered.
Yeah, 18 months to 24 months on ambulances, but you do have a class of 15 right now that'll be ready to go in so many days. Forget exactly how many. Another class of 8 that's also started training, and they got 236 or 37 that are on a, they're non-certified people that are they're taking that will take class will be ready to go in May. Every how many of those come out of there. So I think they have been flooded with applications.
Yeah, I think
Correct.
it's about 300 applications they received. They were actually overwhelming. Spoke with Chief Thursday, so.
Yeah. So you'll have that.
I was asked that question. I just want to make sure it's in the minutes because I was said that you're ordering more ambulances, but you don't have drivers. So now that question's been
Let me
answered.
ask this question. Are we all in agreement that the sewer line should be taken off?
What he said.
That would be my thinking right now, because I have had conversation with other partners there, and we come back at a certain particular time to really address that.
Well, we were talking about putting a pump station in there in the beginning anyway.
Well, we're
Did we
pumping
not?
Hall now, but with the other developments that have happened there, you know, I mean, it would be easy to get it to them, but there could be some other developments that would take care of that and take it
So
off
we
the
can
list.
go
It
ahead
does
and pretty well
qualify.
Take that off.
rule that out.
Yeah, you could.
Okay, how did the 600,000 come from 150,000 in February? That's what, I don't see how it grew that big. You buying a bunch of vans?
No, that is a 3-year budget is what it is. That's what they
So
asked for to
200,000
sustain
a
them.
year.
Yeah, yeah, that's what they'd asked for.
Okay, it's a lot, that's what I'm saying.
But, and I think with the conversations today on the nonprofits, you could take, say, just not give it to any nonprofit, and that covers you,
Yeah.
that covers you there, if you want to do that.
I mean, if we don't do the 2 nonprofits that are down here, what would you like to do with those funds?
Well, if we already over 2.5, that'll bring us down to.
No,
Yeah.
not
No.
that column.
Not what
The
column?
the middle column is
What you got?
is equal.
Balanced, zeroed out.
Yeah,
Okay.
so we can place it somewhere else or just not spend it.
Might need it some another day.
You do have to 2026 to spend it.
2024 to obligate it, 2026 to finish paying for it.
Okay, that's good.
Well, with the amount of money it is, Aaron, could it go
True.
in revenue loss?
I thought would,
December 24 to obligate it, December 26 to finish paying for it.
okay. Because they're talking about going to 27 other day.
They may be extending the period of time to finish some of
Okay.
these bigger projects. I don't know, but we got till 24 to obligate it, which means we got to issue a purchase order. And then 2026 to finish paying.
Okay.
So if we don't obligate it tonight, how much time do we have to obligate it?
Till December of 2024.
2 years.
So we've got plenty of time to think about it.
Yeah.
It'll be gone by December
Yeah.
this year.
Aaron, if it was to come down to it, could we accept it as revenue loss like we talked about to begin with? Or is that a bad idea altogether?
I don't know that it's a bad idea. I wonder, and again, I understand what we're doing, I understand why, and I think what we're doing with the utility districts is right up the alley of what I think everybody's in agreement with, I think. The thing that I wonder about is, that's not on the list, is, you know, is there a stormwater project? Is there another project that is gonna need some attention that would qualify? That's what I wonder about. But again, we can spend it all tonight, and you know, anytime between now and December 24, we can spend it. If we put it in the general fund, like you say, if we claim it as revenue loss and put it in the general fund,
We can spend it
we'll
any
just
way
take
we
it back
want.
out of the general fund, you know, so. But, well, it's my preference to try to get stuff that qualifies, and to spend it on projects that long-term benefit the county. I think that's what this money was intended for, was to some long-term benefit for the county. And that's just a preference. I'm not a voting member of the board, obviously.
Tell us what we need to do.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Numbers.
Aaron?
Yes, sir.
If we take it as revenue loss and put it in the general fund,
Mm-hmm.
and say later we spend it, do we have to qualify that again?
No, sir, it would already be qualified under revenue loss.
That's what I mean, so that gives us more options in the future to spend it on other things that we may need in the county that may not qualify now. That may be a smart way to do it. That's my,
Like another nonprofit or?
no, to something that we need, maybe some capital improvement or something, or to help with the Justice Center in the future or something like that.
At that point in time, if it goes into the general fund, it could be spent just like we spend any other dollar out of the general fund.
13 votes.
Sure would.
Yeah.
13 votes and
Now, I know this money wasn't sent for us to profit from, I
No, it
understand.
and I didn't mean to say anything quite like that if I said what I said.
No,
I
I'm the
just,
one that said it.
Yeah, yeah.
But that wasn't my intentions, but
Yes.
that gives us the ability to work with it any way we choose.
It does. You know, I think you've got a lot of flexibility. Even if you leave it as ARP funds for the time being, you still have the opportunity down the road, if you so choose, to claim it as revenue loss. You know, at some point in the future, you have an opportunity if you had a stormwater project pop up over at the Ag Center, which you may well have with all the new buildings going up over there. If you had a stormwater, we had a project brought to us a while back, which probably nobody remembers, but there was one area that I'm sure the mayor could name that floods out so bad that it was requested that we consider buying a lot or two to be able to drain off where it didn't flood as bad, you know. So I don't remember the total cost of that project. I apologize. I'm just saying there's no lack of worthy long-term benefit projects for this county that this money can be used for.
Yes, sir.
I just wanted to mention that we've had one workshop with Corps of Engineers, and then we've had another meeting in here with them. And they're prepared to start doing studies on our main creeks, tributaries, et cetera, for flooding, and that's like 1 inch in an hour, 1 inch in 4 hours, 1 inch in 24 hours, and on up the scale to see exactly what point, when you get the full build out in 2050, we're not making some houses submarine houses, if you know what I'm saying. We don't want to let them build now where they're going to be flooded out later. So at some point in time, we got to match a little money with the Corps, and it's not going to be in the millions by any means, but whatever money that goes back in is revenue loss we may sometime when they start this thing in the January time frame, we may need to have a little money to match with the $20,000, $30,000, $40,000, something like that. So to plug that memory glade, if you will, for the future, if any of this is not expended. So.
Is there more ARP money coming?
No, sir.
Is
This
this
is
all?
all.
Thank goodness.
Yes, ma'am.
Like tying up onto what Jerry was saying about the stormwater and floodwater situations, I know I've got a couple different spots in my district that we're having floodwater issues, and really truly it would be a public works problem, but we don't have a public works department. So I think if we could use some of this ARP funds to be able to take care of some of these smaller projects that technically would be public works and spread it out through the county, I think that would be really beneficial to a significant number of people within the county, and that's what, at least my understanding of the mission of this money, is trying to be able to touch as many people in the county as we can. So I'd like to investigate looking at stormwater projects throughout the county. I mean, I can give you an example of one specific one in my area that probably could be solved with, you know, $10,000 to $15,000. It's not a whole lot, but it certainly would make a huge difference to people in this area where it floods. So if we could clean out a creek, basically, is what it is. And I'm sure there's lots of places like that all over the county in everybody's districts. You could find small things like that, and if we could spread it out, I think we could really make a difference.
And that comes down, I know we can't do it, but Mike, can we contract with somebody to do something to clean out a creek or something like
There are a
that?
lot of questions there, because if you start cleaning out a creek, you gotta get Corps approval.
Yeah.
That takes a while, so there's,
Yeah.
do they need to be done? Most likely, yes, but it's a long-term project, not a quick fix.
Some of the blue line streams,
Yeah.
which she's got some there that got mud, silted in, et cetera. You have to go through TDEC people,
Yeah.
state people on those, so. But there you can get a permit, that's not a problem, but you just gotta go through the.
Time,
jump through the hoop,
just takes
yeah.
some time, yeah.
Yeah.
But Mayor or Aaron, either one, at this particular time, if we're not gonna designate those funds, would it be the safest place just to leave it in ARP funds?
In my opinion, yes.
Yes.
Till we get down to.
You wanna know what we got.
time running out.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am.
You will, anyway.
I would like to make a motion that we go ahead and consider the 3 ambulances and the money for the insurance fund.
We're gonna do them all that way.
The total of the insurance funds, the 1841319.
Yes.
Okay.
And the 3 ambulances at 968,313.
You get
I
that
assume
motion?
if we're gonna do that, that's a pretty timely manner to get them.
Got a motion?
Okay.
I'll second.
Okay, there's a motion on the floor to do the full amount for self-insurance COVID claims of 1.841319 and courthouse, no, excuse me, 3 ambulances at 968,313. There's a motion and a second. Discussion. Yes, sir.
I just had a question, Aaron. How much is in the ambulance fund now, Aaron?
Kenny, you know, coming into this budget year, I want to say 500,000 maybe, once we appropriate the additional money over, maybe a
I've
little
got the
more.
budget with me.
Okay, good.
It's gonna take me a second.
Yeah, you got to find
It's on
118. It'll be right behind the general fund, so about page 76 or so,
Okay.
76, 77.
So question, does that include or exclude the ambulances we're getting ready to order or have ordered?
That does not include any ambulances at all.
Not included.
Now, to clarify in my mind, these are additional ambulances.
The third ambulance in Lebanon, one in Mount Juliet, and a spare
In other
one
words,
because you reach a
these-
certain
these-
number.
This won't be replacing ambulances, this will be new ambulances,
Yes, sir.
new spots.
Yes, sir.
Okay, there's a motion and a second. Any other questions or concerns? All in favor, say aye. Any opposed? What about the, so the only thing,
Right.
the only 3 items left deals with broadband and courthouse HVAC.
That's what I was
Only two.
I'd like to make a motion for the courthouse HVAC because it can't get, it's gonna get really toasty in here in about a couple of months. So I think y'all gonna need it.
We'll second that, 'cause
Watch it.
he's been after that for years.
Was there a second?
She made the motion, she made the second.
Okay, there's a motion and a second to do courthouse HVAC for 1.480 million. Any other questions or concerns? All in favor say aye. Any opposed?
The ambulance and the other pass too.
Okay, we are now,
We're going up the list.
we're now to the broadband and what you would like to do with that.
Well, now, where are we at money-wise, Aaron?
Just a minute, sir, I got behind.
We're spending it.
He's writing as fast as he can.
Well, I
We're
was,
about
I was talking when you,
200,000.
yeah.
200,000.
It's fun to watch government when there's money available.
And it's free.
It's funny. It's like kids reaching in them ducks at the fair.
2.604 million. You got that right? 2.604 million.
That's how much we have
That's a
left,
million.
if we find what we talked about.
60 million.
I got 2,604,938 is what I got. I'll refigure, make sure I'm right.
I want to ask a question. I'm going to probably be the bad guy.
Go ahead.
But we we authorized all this money for broadband to be matched with a bunch of state money that they didn't get.
Yeah.
So how much are they gonna be able to do with this money? I mean, this is a lot less money than what they were seeking.
Yeah. So they're still gonna, if you look at the packet that I gave you, the 800,000 there from DTC, shows you what they're going to invest and what the 800,000 was to match to get it to some areas that are unserved in Wilson County. And then United Communications, they were wanting 2.5, but they would take 1.5. They said they're bringing the trunk line down there, but they showed you also in their map, the separate sheet I put out of where they would serve. So some people would have a competitive option on broadband, and some would be served that's not being served right now. So, you know, they just like the rest of it, they take whatever they get. They were trying to get a
Well, I
match to do
understand
the
that,
other.
but are we gonna get something in return?
Yes,
That's
sir.
what I'm wondering. How
They're
much
gonna
can they
build
do?
out.
Yeah,
Huh?
yeah.
They're gonna build out. And
Yeah, but Dan, they were after a great big pot of money. They put this money in to
they
match
didn't get
10
it,
million. and-
But for example, United and DTC, they got grant monies matched in other parts of their service area. Only Wilson County got nicked, but their other areas, they picked up state grant money.
Okay.
So they got funding in other areas that they submitted for. It's just that for whatever reason, Wilson
I'm not
County-
speaking against it. I'm just questioning how much,
Right.
what kind of bang for the buck you're gonna get.
Yeah.
They
I know
wanna-
what you get with 3
They wanna
hours.
see if they get the grant, they wanna move forward, but whatever they can get, they can get, so.
From,
They just
Again,
aren't
y'all
getting
say
things
that,
done.
I understand that. I'm that way too. Whatever I can get, I'll take. But my question was, what do we get in return?
from what.
And I've said enough. I'll let
Mike, can I?
From what
address
from
that?
what I can see, the DTC would build 58 miles of fiber, and United would build 119 trunk line of fiber.
I know that UTC out Joseph Ferry Pike from in here in town, they're all the way close to the Smith County line. They came right across the farm, and they've gone under the roads already with service to houses all the way out. So I know they're already building out in this area.
Oh, yeah.
I just asked a question. I don't vote, so y'all don't have to convince me. I just asked a question.
The paragraph there details Chicken Road and the area that will be served.
Yeah.
It's not being served right now. Okay? That's what
The
you'll be
portion that
getting for your money.
The portion DTC's wanting to build out with this money, I got a phone call from a gentleman today. He's got a road full of people wanting service, and DTC, Chris Townsend, gonna call him tomorrow.
All right, now this is what I'm looking for. If
Yes.
Wilson County commits 800,000, they're gonna fill in the rest of the project at 4,175,000. Now, that's a big.
Now, that's a big bang for the buck.
That's bang for the
better
buck.
picking up that duck.
You're basically paying 20 cents to get a dollar back.
Yes,
And then
Yes,
there's-
ma'am.
There's the amount.
that's good.
DTC stands for DeKalb Telephone Company. Even they have that over here at the fairgrounds, they reach far and wide.
And there's what we done
Locally
notifications
owned
for.
company by the members. I've got 3 phone systems in there. They always put back more into what they get out of everything. We have kids at Watertown High School who do not have broadband at home and have to do their homework at school before they can leave. And so I really would hate to see y'all completely cut them out, because they have no other options. And when you see the signs that say affordable Wi-Fi everywhere, it doesn't run out there. But they run fiber optic, they go under the roads, they do what it takes. So that's my story.
They give you that number because they're running 119 miles of fiber.
Yeah, I just started with the, I don't
Yeah.
care.
No, I'm done at, I mean, we just had those 3. I think I'm about to be at the end.
Am I right? Is it 938 or 947?
Okay,
I had, I still came up with the same number.
604.
yes, sir. Go ahead.
Question, Mayor. The HVAC system, the ambulances, how hard of a number are those numbers? Are we
Solid.
solid, guaranteed?
Because the train had the quote in here in your packet,
Okay.
and then Brian Newberry
And the
had the
ambulance-
quotes for the Newberry.
What I was getting at, did we maybe need to conserve a little something just in case some of those things come in higher than we expected? But you're telling me that those are actual bids?
According to what Robert gave me, I asked him to give me an up-to-date bid. The ambulances, Brian Newberry was trying to make sure that if they got to the end of the month, that they would honor that price for. and it's also stated in
That's
there.
what I was getting at.
Yes, sir. If we make the approval, I think on the third Monday, I think we're good to go.
Okay.
And it saves, I think if you read in there, it saves, I don't know how many dollars if we order them right now, as opposed to waiting another month.
He said that in one of our meetings.
Okay,
You're gonna hire
what,
efficiency, you're gonna save on electricity day one.
what you could do is take the 604,000 that was requested by Wilson Rides and United Way and apply it to DTC.
Mm-hmm.
If y'all forgotten the Ag Center expansion.
This year, still got 500 hanging out.
Yeah, see, that's United also.
So
Was that United
they're
or
wanting 2 million.
DTC there?
They're both gonna bid it.
So since both of them want the opportunity to serve that area, then that would be something that if you decide you wanted to spend $500,000 out there to improve the internet service there on the grounds, we would need to bid that, since there's 2 providers. The other places that we got, they're a single provider, so I don't have to bid that one. But that's why I just put in there to set aside $500,000 if that's what you want to do. Because DTC bid it at 500 to do some improvements out there, but there really wasn't a scope of work drawn up, so that was just a guess of what they could do. So I would rather drop the scope of work, pay for it, bid it out, if you want to put that money towards it. So, are you starting, Aaron? Are you starting with 6,894,110?
Man,
And
nine,
you're-
subtracting 968,313, 1,841,319, and 1,480,000 even.
1,480,000.
Yes, sir.
I thought that was 1,840.
I'm on this
Question
list.
about that
It's on
$500,000. Does that
1,480
give
even.
enough broadband during the
Yeah.
fair? Is that basically to ramp it up?
You
to where,
subtracted
you know, when you got a
those
big
3 right
crowd,
there?
I know broadband disappears on you.
Okay, yes.
If you got it, is that
Yeah,
what
and
that
that's the difference,
500,000
yeah.
is?
Okay, because he's got this, he's got 1,840,59.
Mayor,
Yeah, he's got a wrong number.
Think a lot of it.
Yeah, my bad.
Mayor,
Yeah.
he was asking if that 500,000 is going to be adequate for the fair.
It won't cover everything, but it will cover a lot. Who's asking me this? I'm sorry. Yeah.
Is that the short up to where there's bandwidth when there's full?
There's lots of issues there when they have things at the expo or whatever that they don't have enough bandwidth to cover the people on the inside. It is for outside on the grounds as well. There were several things in their proposal. I probably have the proposal. You can see what they did, but I really think, not that it's a drop in the bucket, but I think that, I don't think it'd be enough to do it, but I do think that if you wanted to do that, you would also include promotions as a part of that as well for a funding source, to go back and scope it out and let them be a part of paying for some of that. I think they would entertain that as well, because they have some things they wanted to get done.
Well, having been there, you know, with 0 bandwidth, or even in Providence for that matter, when on Sunday,
Yeah.
you've got plenty of, you're just fine. Sometimes you can't even talk on your cell phone. And it seemed to me that might be, since we got the Tennessee State Fair, that might be something to think about.
And
And
that
the
may-
only time we'll ever do it.
Yeah. I mean, I would think before we venture down that, we definitely need to, if you wanted to set some money aside, fantastic, but we need to spend some more time drilling down on that.
So we could just let it go for the time being and maybe talk to promotions and see how much they're willing and do all we could.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, get as many players involved as we can, because we have several people out
We
there.
could just forget about that 500,000 and let
Right
it
now.
set idle for the time being.
Yes.
Today. Okay, wait.
So what we have right now is 2,604,000, and how much is it?
478, 2604, 478.
Yeah, so that's what you have left over to spend if you want to spend it, or you can sit on it. If you don't want to do any broadband.
Did you
can
take
just
it,
pay.
did you back that 500,000 out that Tommy was talking about?
No, we have not.
We never took it out.
We hadn't done anything
You're
yet.
no fool.
So,
Huh?
So,
does anybody want to make a motion concerning United Communications?
I'd like to ask a question about
Okay.
it. United Communications is affiliated with Middle Tennessee Electric.
Yes, sir.
Middle Tennessee Electric's in front of every home in Wilson County, I think. What about DTC? How many folks do they represent?
Both of these are outside of the United Communications line, I think, their bid is really, we're gonna run a trunk line of 119 miles down through Wilson County, which is gonna give some people an option to where they're, to pay for their broadband or to get it from Comcast. They are gonna serve, as identified in that paper that you got, a few areas that are not served right now, but they're also gonna run by some places because Middle Tennessee lines are everywhere. DTC's is only gonna cover people that right now, of the 800,000, that don't have any internet service. They are strictly going to serve unserved areas. There are gonna be some unserved areas in United Communications, but to get their trunk line here, they're gonna bypass, they're gonna come by some places that do have that. So it's kinda like a water tank, you know, it's not serving unserved people, but it's definitely something you gotta have. So, and if you want me to, I can get both of those people to come back and give you a more detailed explanation before you spend the rest of this money on that. I'd be glad to do that if you want to come in.
We don't have to designate these funds this evening.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
DTC is the only game in town for most people. On the eastern end of the county, halfway back, all the way.
That's right.
Whereas what he's telling you is United Communications, they've got other options, but they're going in, you know, as well. So DTC doesn't have any other options because nothing else works out there.
I think you can get them to come back and talk to us again.
They'd be glad to.
I hate to prolong it, but
Not a problem. They're both willing to do that whenever you're ready.
Am I hearing that we're through for the evening? Yes, sir.
I have a question, before you finish, I
Okay.
have a question on the water projects, over $12 million. I know they came in with their plans and everything. Do we have any method to make sure they're doing their plans? Like Mr. Jennings said, they have plans, but is there a control method that the county can go in and see if they're doing what they're saying they're gonna do?
You don't have any control over them. Once you give them their money, they're gone.
As soon as we give them the money, they're gone, so they can pay their executives more and do nothing, correct?
Mr. Gentry, this would be a reimbursement-based, this would be a reimbursement-based
Okay,
project.
good, then we give them the money once it's done.
Yeah, they will have to go, we're not gonna hand them a check. They're gonna have to go spend some money.
That was my question.
They have to submit an
So
invoice
we do
before they're
have-
paid.
Yeah.
We have control.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, we're not sending anybody a check.
Very good.
Okay. Anything else at this point in time?
Can you go over what you agreed on?
We've approved courthouse HVAC, we've approved the 3 ambulances, and we've approved self-insurance COVID claims.
And let me explain how this will work Monday night so you can vote on it, okay? The packet went out yesterday, and our rules say that, you know, you have to have this in place 7 days ahead of time. So what I will do is I will prepare a new resolution sometime this week. And it'll be on your desk Monday night. When the resolution for the 4 water things comes up, you'll make a motion and a second. And then somebody will make a motion to amend and substitute this resolution. That'll take a second.
Okay.
Vote on that. And that way you can get it in, it doesn't violate your rules. It's the same as amending, and we've done that many times, most of the time at budget time. So, but something had to be in the packet 7 days out, and you've got that vehicle now that you can add these things to it. It'll take 13 votes, I know that. That'll be a question I'll get asked, but people say it takes 17, but every time we do a budget resolution, we amend our budget. So, and you've got 7 or 8 of them in there this time, so. Takes 13.
Mr. Jennings, is it required to have everyone in the same resolution? Can we have individual resolutions for
No.
everyone?
You can, but you won't be able to vote on them unless you suspend the rules and get 17 votes.
17 votes. You get 17 votes.
I'm trying to avoid you having to.
Oh, I understand. I'm just thinking, that's a lot of money for all at once, that's all I'm saying. Some
It is.
people may want this, they don't want that one. I mean, I'm not in that category, but I'm just saying.
Well, what could happen there, Mr. John, is once they amend and substitute, you got that on the floor, then they could further amend to say, well, I'll back this one out. I don't want this one included or whatever. You could do it that way. And that would take 13 votes.
Tommy, got anything else?
I know.
Got anything? Need one more motion?
Motion to adjourn.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
If I could, real quick, I know you guys are done with your budget committee. I'd like to introduce Mr. Darrell Croucher. He is with a nonprofit, and he's never submitted for a grant through the county. And I was just wondering, we got plenty of money in the general fund. I don't know, over the next 12 months, this next fiscal year, if they can come before health and welfare and present a case of a small amount of, you want to just get up and speak?
They put out applications.
Introduce yourself real quick.
Oh, yeah. Well, thank you. I'm Darrell Crouch. I'm with Everyone's Wilson. We got a lot of friends in the room, and so I'm just here tonight learning the ropes a little bit. Y'all been doing this work for a long time, and I'm really grateful. And we're a collection of churches and businesses and nonprofits who are working together to come around every school in Wilson County to provide sustainability for kids and their families, as well as a lot of encouragement for teachers. And so there's been a lot of favor. We've made a lot of progress, but there are a lot of great nonprofits in our community. And from our perspective, the pie is not limited. It's not everybody grabs for their piece of the pie and runs for the hills. We're a faith-based, gospel-loving people. So we believe God is the baker, and He's got plenty of bread, and so He'll provide for all of us as we go along. So Wilson Rides is a great organization. I think everybody ought to get as much money as they possibly can, and trust and work and show favor and cooperate. When we all win, we all win. And so when one person wins, we all win. There's not a limited supply of funds, and there's not a limited supply of resources. But our efforts are to tie human resources with financial resources, because the real work that has to happen is through relationships. And a lot of our service folks that are in public service, those of you in this room, those in social services, and those in education. I read recently that there's 28.9 million acre feet of water behind the Hoover Dam. And a lot of our folks in public service today are kind of holding back the Hoover Dam and plugging their finger in the dike, hoping it doesn't come out. And I'm not a pessimist, I'm an optimist. I think it's going to be fine, but I do think that if we can go upstream as far as possible and get to kids and their families and create sustainability for them, we're all going to be better for it in the long run. But I came tonight to learn the ropes. I don't really new in the nonprofit game, was a pastor for a long time and for my whole career really. And so we're just stepping into this space. But again, a lot of friends in the room, a lot of neighbors, walk our dogs together, and at least our dogs bark at each other when they do. So we're just really grateful for the work you do and to partner with you in some way along the way. Thanks, Mayor. Appreciate you, sir.
Thank you. They do a great work.
Thomas Jones spent more money tonight than I've ever seen him spend.
We are adjourned.
And did the right thing.